being here. The reason for your bad Afrikaans is because you're not watching the Real Housewives from Pretoria.
I admit to that, and I do apologize, and I'm here to say sorry for that. But look, officially, and my apologies to your husband, you're very beautiful, you're very stunning. I think you get that all the time, but I have to say it officially because people will judge me. They'll be like, "You're such a beautiful lady. You didn't say anything." So officially.
Thank you. And for those who can't see, he's sitting with a Spider-Man outfit.
Jeez, Melanie, thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. I'm honored to have seen your space. I think you guys have done amazingly well. Seeing the empowerment in the teaching of young, especially black females, I think is one of the most, transformative things you can do. We speak about unemployment. We speak about especially women because there's a lot of single mothers who can feed their families. So from me to you to the rest of the team, thank you so much. I'm inspired.
Oh wow,
really inspired.
Thank you. Wow.
But you said this is an interview, so I'll keep quiet and just listen to you.
I can keep listening to that all day because, like you said, people talk about uplifting other people and helping other people, but here you can see how we are uplifting people, like literally. And it's like you said, I mean, if you can do nails, even just the basics, you can feed a family.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing. And luckily for us, the nail industry in South Africa is booming.
Yeah.
Always. All women in South Africa wear nails.
And they deserve to have good nails. The ones that don't. So
yeah, if you pay the price, you should get the quality as well. You shouldn't be worried about your nail chipping tomorrow, right?
I'm gonna give you a little sort of business tip, but just an idea.
Yeah.
There's a video I watched many years ago now of some celebrity flip-flop industry in America. So they got a lot of Hollywood stars and other celebrities to buy these luxury slops.
Okay.
And they said for every pair of slops you buy, we get to give shoes to the most neediest of kids around the world. So I think if you can maybe even increase your price for some, like a KFC 2 rand, this is how much your nails will cost. But if you add an extra this much, it allows us to go and do 5 nails of women that could not afford to have the Tammy Taylor experience. I think that would be really dope as an idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely try it out.
Please.
See if it works.
Please.
So tell me, you said you know a little bit about TikTok and a little bit about YouTube, famous for YouTubing. Can you give us a few tips?
I don't know what tips.
What makes a good YouTube? What do people look out for?
So I think vodcasting in this country is relatively new. Podcasting is obviously audio for people that don't know. Vodcasting is the video aspect of podcasting. In America, it became very big with Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience. Now we've got Lex Friedman, we've got Andrew Huberman in America.
I love Andrew.
Really hyper intelligent guys. In South Africa, it started off with podcast and chill. I think especially under lockdown, people sitting at home, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to watch. And today you've got a lot of people kind of blossoming. I know you've been podcasting for I think over 2 years now, but a lot of people still don't know what it is. And when you look at the South African market, 80% black, and they've got their own culturalization. And if you look at the videos that have done the most views, it's people speak about witchcraft.
No, stop, really?
True story. Witchcraft, sangomas, African spirituality.
Yeah.
So the concept of black people before Christianity came to Africa.
That's interesting.
And then of course gossip. People love gossip, like Housewives of Pretoria type.
I can tell you about the gossip.
That's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
People enjoy that very much. I think for me, I wanted to come in with the angle of education because of the people I'm inspired by.
Definitely.
I think if you can find, this is now maybe the tip, if you can find a way to merge the gossip with the education, I think that becomes a game changer. So, Housewives of Pretoria, this is what's happening. Oh my gosh, this is what happened. But guys, please remember, take care of your friendships, look after relationships. Don't ever let, if you're a female, don't let your female friends ever get into the way of your marriage and the sanctity of your, those become educational things, and people then love you more than just the gossip and the story and the scandal.
Don't you just want to come and spend time here? every day.
I will. You've invited me here. You made a mistake. You made a mistake of inviting me
so
here.
much. I'm really enjoying our conversation so much already. I think we're going to be here for longer than 20 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. This is going to probably be a long podcast.
I wanted to ask you questions, but I don't know if I should maybe park them for when you visit me.
No, ask me.
Especially for your fans. I think you forget that your fans know you, but they don't know everything about you and different shades of you.
True.
And for someone who's just met or bumped into Mel for you for the first time, before you became famous, who you were then to the contrast with now, like where you're from, when you were a little Macy and you're like, one day I will be, what did you envision for your life and where's home? Sorry, I'm being the interviewer now.
I love that. I'm going to keep it short because it might get boring. Limpopo girl.
Yeah. That is shocking for a lot of black people, by the way. We never imagine white people from Limpopo or Zimbabwe,
Yeah, so Limpopo girl. I've always been that little, not even the rebel, because my sister was the rebel. I was the goody two-shoe, but the one with the twist. I always had these chommies that they're going to change the world.
Yeah.
And I was their friend. So I always had these friends that had big dreams, big houses, rich parents. I don't know why I was attracted to it, but from a very young age, I was attracted to beauty and beautiful things and just architectural stuff, beautiful drawings. I don't know if it's a genetic thing.
I think it was attracted to you.
Maybe.
I think sometimes in life you're born in a space and you don't know what you're meant to be.
But why wasn't it attracted to the other brothers and sisters? You know what I mean?
It was attracted to you.
It's like the same house, but all the children are so different.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that works. I don't understand it, but it's like that.
So you always knew you were going to live this lavish life?
Well, I always knew I wanted bigger and better.
Yeah.
I didn't have the tools how to get there, but I knew just to try things. And that actually pulled me through.
You were a risk taker and a doer.
Big risk taker and a big doer. I would just do it.
Yeah.
I would just move to America and figure it out when I get there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's how I am.
And your family's always been supportive of you being different?
Well, family don't like different always. So I distanced myself from a young age actually because I felt very different.
That's crazy. We assume that you probably got a lot of support.
No, I was on my own since I was 16.
Why?
Because I wanted peace and quiet. It was very noisy in the house. I couldn't focus, I couldn't sleep. I don't sleep very easily, so I have to like be calm and zen and get into sleep mode. So I don't sleep easily. And I wanted peace. So I decided to move when I was 16. And I was working while I was 16, 17.
Yeah.
And so when I did matric, I was just doing my own thing, looking after myself, paying for my school, and just, I was an adult when I was 16, basically. Isn't that weird?
It's weird and inspiring, and it's daunting, I think. I mean, what would make you want to make your own money at a young age? Is it, well, let me just ask, what type of a background do you come from? Do you come from a rich family, middle class?
Not at all, middle class.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just so different. Like I told you before, that little person with the twist that wanted more, and I cannot tell you where it comes from exactly.
Yeah.
But I just knew I wanted more always, and no is not an answer for me. I can't do it is not an answer for me. I know there's always a way to do something, and if you can't find a way, you haven't tried everything.
That's true.
And so that is how I figure out stuff. How hard could it be?
This is not anything you learned anywhere. This was just always burning inside you.
Yes.
Hectic.
And you? Where are you from exactly, sir?
I'm from a klein dorpie called Newcastle.
Oh, you see.
In KZN, where all the best people are from.
Yeah.
I come from a single mother household. My mom raised the three of us, myself, my brother, my sister. She was a school teacher my whole life. And then I went to Rhodes University in Grahamstown in the Eastern Cape. I did my honors in accounting. I wanted to be a CA. at UJ.
Excuse me.
We also had big dreams in a different way, but we were going at the academic route, I think some of us. But later on, I don't know if I really believe in destiny and fate. I don't know. But what I do know is sometimes you have something that's burning deep down inside you. And you can try and ignore it for many years, but eventually it does win. So I'm here now meeting you, which I don't know if it would have happened. Maybe I would have been your accountant, but I don't know if we would have had a conversation like this. We'd just be discussing numbers.
We'd be discussing numbers.
Yeah. But I think also from a young age, and I think for children, their dreams are always valid. You know, when you spoke about America in 16, I just started thinking about Charlize Theron from Benoni. That
you see, she also just went for it.
She just went for it.
No plan, just go.
And I don't know in South Africa if we speak enough about specifically the white, young Afrikaner girl who has got bigger dreams than just being a wife and going to church. And she's like, no, but why can't I build an empire? Why can't I change society? And I think that's an underrated story, which I think you're bringing back to life now, which is why I'm fascinated about being in your presence.
You know what? I don't even think it's very sad. The cultural difference. I don't think what girls go through as a white community and what girls go through in a black community, I don't think there's much difference.
Okay.
I don't know one girl that was not molested while she was young. Not one. And that's not strange for me.
That's scary.
I don't know of one girl that was not molested. How crazy of a world so when I talk to celebrities, they'd be, talking about the history and how bad it was and, where they lived and how it was. And I was like, and they actually said to me that they assume that white girls would grow up in a protected environment where, they watch out for each other. It's not true.
You're actually scaring me, and you make me wonder, what do you think we're doing wrong as a society, as men, and how do we circumvent more victims, especially young girls? Because it's when girls are at their most vulnerable and fragile that these atrocities happen.
I was thinking to launch a program where I teach a young woman, especially negotiation skills.
Okay.
Because basically what you're in a situation where you have to negotiate yourself out of it. I think first of all you have to notice that you're in a position that you shouldn't be in. Because that's number one, is you don't know what's happening around you. You don't know what is this thing that's happening, and then you find out afterwards, oh, this is what was happening. So I think maybe we need to teach young women about sex or what molesting looks like from a very young age, so that they know, oh, okay, I'm in this situation, I need to get out. Because I think the problem is not knowing.
I've got two daughters. My first daughter is turning 10 soon, and my second daughter is turning 4 years old. So hearing stories like this literally makes my heart drop.
They just need to know what the environment looks like. If someone touches even your knee, you must just move away.
Yeah.
I think girls just need to become aware of where people shouldn't touch you and where it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because it might start with, hi, like touching your hand, hi, how are you? Or a grandpa that gives you a super wet kiss on the cheek, and you'd be like, ugh. You never know how many times you missed being molested. Just that wet kiss on the cheek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember this wet kiss on the cheek, and I was like, oh my God, how gross is that, Grandpa? Ugh. And then you would move away, but you never know.
Being hugged for too long.
Or being hugged for too long.
And they keep brushing your back.
Yes, exactly. And so I think girls need to become aware of things like that from a younger age.
Yeah.
Like a long hug or a touch on the knee or a touch on the hand. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's a male or a female. Just don't do it.
I'm fascinated by you speaking about the negotiation. Some of the things we don't think about, because we speak self-defense.
Yes.
We speak speaking out.
You don't even need self-defense.
But if you can master a way to communicate and to even the awareness before you even communicate, I think That is something I haven't thought about. That's quite interesting.
You were asking, so
I'll tell you.
Let me tell you my version.
I'll tell you from a father's perspective and from a male perspective.
Yeah.
Fathers are normally overprotective of their daughters.
Definitely.
Because we know the wolves that are out there.
Yes.
And I think this becomes another lesson for me and for other boys and men out there, why we need to be present in our daughters' lives so that we can warn them. A boy shouldn't do that to you. I'm a man. I can tell you that that was wrong. He mustn't say that to you because maybe certain females may not know. It's like, no, I think he was just complimenting me. That's not a compliment. That's not flirting. And even flirting, you have to decide. Because if you don't like it, you have to shut it down quickly. And one of the things I know abusers and exploiters do is they love working in the shadows. So as an example, if you're getting a kiss, someone you don't like, you're being touched, to say it out loud in front of other people so that this person's scared that I think I can't get close to that girl because I might get in trouble.
Yeah.
With other kids, I hug you for too long, I touch your hands, you don't say anything. So then I keep pushing the boundaries.
Yes.
You know.
A little at a time, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Actually, it makes me think of Piet's daughter. When she was a bit younger, they were just walking in the mall, and because he's been training his girls, like this situation could cause this, and that situation could cause, and you must always be on the lookout for things. So they've been well trained. And I remember her coming home one day and telling a story where she felt like there were two boys following them or following her. I can't remember if she was alone.
Yeah.
And she would like see them popping up in every store where she goes.
Sure.
And she made the biggest noise and fuss about it that the boys ran away.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, you don't know if she just got away from like a robbery or being trafficked, or you don't know.
That's one of the scariest things, being trafficked.
Oh my God. And so that's what you said, like just make a fuss, make a big noise when something's uncomfortable, just so that person just runs away. In case.
Oh, you're scaring me. Sorry. Anyways, on a more hopefully positive note.
Yeah.
After matric, what happens to your life then?
It's actually such a mess because I was thinking also, there's so many women out there or even men that don't know what to do after matric. Not everyone has the funds to go and study.
Yeah.
And becoming a nail technician is a great way of, planning something.
Yeah.
Start earning money, and then when you have a little, you can plan and do online courses. For people that can't afford going to get a degree.
Yeah.
I would have loved that, but I just never had the time.
I spoke with one of your ladies, your amazing ladies who did my nails. They're glistening right now.
Oh, and you said you're feeling shiny? Was that the word?
Feels like Louis Vuittonish.
Oh, your nails feel Louis Vuitton.
Very.
Oh.
So I was being to one of the amazing ladies who did my nails, Trinity, and I asked her a very sneaky question of...
You're a sneaky person?
I asked her a very sneaky question of, in her opinion,
yeah,
does she believe that male technicians are better than female? And she said, look, honestly, I think the men are better. And I'm only raising this because boys and men listening would be like, oh, nails, no, that's for women.
Right.
And you'd be surprised.
Yes.
So as a way to earn an income, really, and it could be a means to an end, it could be an end in itself, and you end up owning an empire like yourself.
And I must tell you, people will say, yeah, but it's only for the gay, lesbian, trans family. No, it's not. It's not just for that family.
Yeah.
Actually, all men do this.
My brother loves doing his nails. He calls it self-care Sundays, I think.
Yes, but even becoming a nail tech,
it's
not only the community that you would think that's doing the nails.
Yeah.
It's like actual people that also have other dreams.
Sure.
It's everyone that becomes nail technicians nowadays.
Sure.
It's amazing to see, but I'm very jealous that the boys are becoming better than the girls, so I'm not going to talk about that because I'm a girl and I want the girls to stay the best.
Sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying you wish you could have gone to tertiary, and you were saying you're passionate because a lot of people don't really have the funds or a plan after matric. And I was asking, what happened to you after matric to get us to where we are today?
I just moved. I did what Charlize Theron did. I just moved to Pretoria with 2,000 rand in my pockets. I decided that I am not staying in Limpopo anymore. There's something bigger out there, so let me go. Let me just pack my bags and go. And I remember it was a big fuss because the internet wasn't such a big thing, and you have to still like imagine. We didn't have Instagram.
Yeah.
Imagine I have Instagram and I can check out where I want to go and work.
Sure.
You know, it's so much easier now than it was before.
Yeah.
And so I packed my bags and I just moved. And I started hustling and figuring things out here. Started doing online courses, study makeup on the weekends, work part-time, study part-time. So I actually have quite a few things that I did, not degrees, but lots of short courses.
Short courses.
Yeah.
Because all you're trying to do is get skills.
Yes.
People forget that. It's not about the paper.
Yeah.
It's about the getting of the skills.
Exactly. So I did a lot of those until I felt comfortable. And I just kept going. I just kept studying, and self-education is a big thing for me.
Yeah. Even today.
There's a lot of advice out there. But people don't want to go and listen.
Sure.
They don't want to read.
And being teachable is important. Always be willing to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
We get a lot of stubborn people that's like, I have my degree now, I don't need to study no more. No, you have to.
Sure.
You have to keep reading.
Did you have support while you were here?
Actually, no.
None at all? You weren't staying with family or friends?
I moved into what do you call it? It's like a
commune, yeah.
Yes, I moved into a commune and I just started from there and eventually got a nice job, got another nice job. You know, you work yourself up. I became I actually had a what do you call them, a life coach eventually that I asked for help. I said, listen, you're a life coach. Coach me. What do I do? She said, well, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? I said, maybe in the medical industry, I want to become what do you call them, a rep? Medical rep?
Yes.
And she said, okay, well, step one, find someone that's a medical rep, ask them how they did it, and then apply. Step 1, 2, and 3. I did exactly what she told me, and it worked.
You were a rep?
A medical rep.
Is there money there? It looks like you guys sell and
Look, the medical industry, you could go up to where you sell body parts.
Fake body
body.
prosthetic limbs. Sorry, that was a bit scary. Wow.
Not body, like
prosthetic limbs.
Joints and stuff. I don't know what you call the term, but I mean, you could go way up to where you are actually with the doctor in the room where they operate, where you teach them about certain equipment that certain companies make. So I was going to go there.
What interrupted you?
What interrupted me was, what is the company called? Prime Media.
Yes.
So they wanted me for their medical division of advertising. And so there I got a little distracted. So I went there, but I was still in love with the bull bar industry. I was selling bull bars for trucks.
Really?
Yes.
You became a salesperson, like a proper hustler.
Imagine. I wish I had all the skills that I have now. I could have sold more bull bars. So I was in between. I was always doing the bull bars and Prime Media, the bull bars and the medical.
Yeah.
So the bull bars was a full-time thing, became a part-time thing, and then again became a full-time thing. And that's when I started nails. Sounds like I've been just doing a lot of things, eh?
I actually wanted to ask, do you think it would have been possible for you to become as successful as you are today without all your experiences? All of them, including the bad ones?
No, definitely not. Because it's the bad stuff that pushes you to do the good stuff. If it wasn't for the company that I did bull bars for that underpaid me, I would not have been angry enough to start doing nails. Because they pissed me off. They pissed me off and I became very angry. I was like, listen, I'm going to start doing my own thing now, and in 10 years' time, it's going to be big. And that's where Tammy Taylor Nails were born. So it was because they made me so angry and underpaid me that I felt like I have to do something for myself, because working for someone is not working long term. And so I just kept going, found the products, taught myself how to do nails, went for a course locally, still taught myself to do nails after that. So I never stopped watching videos on nails, and it just became the best. They say if you put in 100 hours a year, you can become the best at anything.
And that's you.
Negotiation, nails, anything. 100 hours is like 20 minutes a day.
Do you still think you're the best?
In nails? Yes, definitely.
Jeez, the voice went up there.
Definitely.
In the country, on the continent, in the world?
World. I wouldn't say nail art, but nails.
No one can touch
world class.
How does Tammy Taylor get involved?
With the brand, the person? What do you mean?
The brand and you. How do you merge with Tammy Taylor and become the face of Tammy Taylor today?
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to be the face. I just want the company to be the company's face.
Okay.
I actually do not like the limelight. Can you believe that?
There's no such thing.
I do not.
There's no such thing.
People want to put me on billboards and put my face. I'm like, I don't want my face out there. Please stop. But I've realized that people want this face.
Yeah.
They want to talk to this face. So I'm just being there for them, you know.
It's a pretty face. It's got a very fierce mind. I'm learning, and it's a very powerful voice.
Thank you.
So, again, like I said, I don't really believe in destiny and fate. But like you said when you were a kid, that you just found yourself attracted to.
Yes.
I think it's calling for you as well.
And for you, I can see you are very, you're so intelligent. And I think what happens is people would underestimate you. But then you come in with your sneak attack. Right? I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
Melanie.
He doesn't want to give away his
I don't know what you're talking
about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know I'm right.
How do you get involved with Tammy Taylor?
So I was watching, I got into the nail industry and I felt like, you know, I have to do something for myself, like I told you.
Yeah.
And I went for a little local course and I wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
I thought, you know what, it looks so ugly, it's thick and it's uninspiring and it's dull. I don't think nails is for me. And then something in the back of my mind said, okay, but you kind of can't just leave it. Mm-hmm. Go on YouTube, find inspiration, like just get inspired. And that's what I did. And I came across Tammy Taylor's videos on YouTube. And that's when I started becoming inspired.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is inspiring. That spirit of education.
Yeah.
I was like, this person does not keep all the secrets to herself.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to be that in South Africa.
Boom.
And then we just started training people. We imported kits. And I became the Tammy Taylor for South Africa. And I was open about the education. We wanted to teach everyone how to do it because I loved what I saw.
Yeah.
And I know when I like something, I think most of the country would like it too.
Yeah.
And I just became the Tammy Taylors for South Africa.
How big do you want to get?
I want to reach every nail tech on the planet. I'm not even in South Africa, just in South Africa anymore. I want to go global.
Fully
global.
Do you want to go global as Tammy Taylor or Mel Viljoen?
I'm not sure yet which one because the Mel brand did grow a little bit in the past year. So I'm deciding, you know, which one should be the bigger brand.
Yeah.
Maybe the Mel. Maybe the Mel will be the bigger brand.
At some point, I think we respect the journey. Yes. Every journey, and we respect masters. Tammy Taylor being a master.
True.
But at some point, I think the student, if they are competent and good enough, are meant to break away. I mean, Tom Ford used to design, I don't know if it was for Louis Vuitton or another brand, until they outgrew and had to go and start their own thing. So I look forward to that.
And VW, I think it was VW, they were manufacturing chairs.
Yeah.
I think it was VW.
I'm not sure.
But it's like a car brand, but they started making furniture.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow. So I mean, Tammy Taylor's could become a car brand. Who knows?
True.
Or a clothing brand, so you must never limit yourself in terms of we're just going to stick to this one thing.
Yeah. How's your relationship with your family now, with all the success?
Well, actually, it's the same. Success or not success, my family is very much like me. We keep to ourselves.
Okay.
So we talk from time to time, but it's not like a very close. I don't do family very well. Okay. I'm not a family person.
I hear you.
I'm also not a friend person.
I've heard you say that. I've heard you say you're not a friend person.
Because everyone is in it for them.
Yeah.
And loyalty has an expiration.
That's deep.
It has an expiration. It really does. So now I've learned, like, if someone tells me we're friends, I'm like, until when?
Do you think from all the hustling and all your experiences being in Gauteng, you learned that people have transactional relationships?
Everybody has. Even if they say, oh, you know what, I really just love this person. Until when? Until they say something about your husband. You know what I mean? Or until they tell you have ugly feet.
Yeah.
Or ugly hands, whatever. Until when?
Yeah.
You know, we're besties. Until when?
So where do you get your power from, if not from your friends? Where do you get your inspiration and your grounding?
Books.
Okay.
Online education. YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mentors on there that you can go and listen to. Chris Voss, Tony Robbins,
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins. There really is a Mel Robbins. But she doesn't strike me that much.
Yeah.
The best and most efficient coach so far has been Chris Voss.
Okay.
The FBI negotiator, Chris Voss.
Chris Voss.
Yes.
And
his skills is what I want to kind of bring into South Africa, because if young people knew about those skills, they could get themselves out of bad situations and into better ones.
Yeah.
Knowing how to do mirroring, labeling, how to do an accusations audit when someone is angry with you. Because even couples, it's like couples therapy. If you know how to get the negatives out of the way psychologically, there will be less fees paying lawyers when you break up or when you want a divorce.
Yeah.
There's better ways of doing things. And Chris Voss is the answer.
You sound like a psychology expert.
I wish I was.
Do you think you're very intelligent? Do you meet normal human beings and look at them and say, I'm actually smarter than all of you because I've put in the work, so I can kind of maybe manipulate you?
No, never.
Well, manipulate for good.
So a lot of people have asked me, like, oh, this is manipulation. No. Manipulation is when you want to take something and make it yours.
Okay.
And take.
Yeah.
When you use my skills or Chris Voss's skills, it's when both parties are better off.
Yeah.
At the end.
I wonder what the word for that is, because it's not manipulation.
Collaboration.
It's collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
Okay.
And it's called the way through that system is tactical empathy. So people, if they want to say it's a manipulation, it is when you are misusing powers to benefit only you.
100%.
Then it's manipulation.
Because sometimes our parents manipulate us to go to school, but for us to benefit in
it's for both parties to be better off.
Yeah.
So it's not. I would say it's a collaboration, maybe.
Thank you. I think that's all from me. I don't know if you have any questions for me. I know I took over your podcast, and I'm sorry.
No, this has been amazing. I mean, I do want to ask you as well. For the youth out there, what do you think they should do in terms of your experience to get started in life?
Listening to your story, I'm a bit sad because I'm almost realizing that if a person isn't driven from within, if a person is not willing to go through the hard times and to struggle, I don't know if they can ever be truly successful.
Very true.
So you're right in terms of people need to take risks. People need to do. I love the advice your life coach gave you. It is a simple 3-step. Who do you want to be like? Go and meet them. And
ask.
Yeah.
And then do what they tell you to. And even Chris Voss, he says, you know what? The worst thing in his life that he's experienced is people would ask for advice, but they wouldn't go and do the advice.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't you just follow the advice that we have given you? And that's how he became so great. He asked for advice and he actually did it.
Yeah.
And now look where he is.
We're addicted to self-help books, self-help videos. People attend motivational seminars and they scream and they sweat. Then they go back to their normal life. That's not how it works.
Actioning nothing.
That's not how it's supposed to work. So.
But I love what you said, that if you're not motivated from within,
it scares me.
I don't know if there's hope for that person.
It makes me sad.
It is very sad, but that's life, and we were meant to be this way.
You believe so?
I think we were made to make decisions on our own.
Yeah.
That is how economics existed. That is how religion existed.
Yeah.
Religion is a very touchy-feely subject for me as well, because it's very complicated.
Yeah.
And it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm not the kind of person that's going to force whatever religion it is that this person believes in onto you, because I have my own interpretation.
I think furthermore to the advice for the youth,
yeah.
I'm not going to ask you the question, I'm going to assume your answer. I believe you are a leader, a very necessary, powerful leader, and I think young people need to find people like Mel Viljoen. Listen to her story, find a way. If you can't be like her, be at least part of her success. And that means joining your academy, that means learning how to do nails, so that when the Mel Viljoen brand becomes global, you're like, I was there. Some of the wealthiest people in the world didn't build anything, but they were there next to the person that built. I mean, the guy who's the CEO of Microsoft now is a billionaire, dollar billionaire. There are people that are dollar billionaires that didn't build the businesses, but they were there being a support for you. They get shares or they get paid, and they're successful. So leaders like you need to be more vocal, be more available. And young people need to find you guys wherever you may be. Move from Limpopo and come to Pretoria and find you and follow your, since they don't have it inside, you have it. So they must just follow whatever you tell them to do, and I think they'll win.
Absolutely true. I couldn't agree more. What I've seen in South Africa as well is a big lack of discipline.
Yes.
And not enough hunger to be successful. I have had people where I am begging them to learn skills, and they're just like,
yeah.
And I'm like, you can do so well if you just listen, but people are like, I'm on my own journey, you know.
We have destroyed this nation indirectly. During apartheid and with the Freedom Charter, the majority of black people were promised a lot of things by the African National Congress and other liberation movements. And part of it was free houses. And the reality for a human being, for any human being, is you will never have true dignity and sense of worth if you have not earned something.
Very true.
And by giving you freebies, I destroy you. I disable you. I weaken you. You cannot do for self. So I think one of the issues we have in this country is there's an entitlement mindset from people. And to what you're saying, if you have to beg someone to do for themselves when they're like, why?
Yes.
I've got a boyfriend that can give me money, or the government will give me something, and you're like, in the real world, if you want to ever ignite yourself and be the best version of you, it's going to require you to do. And people lack that, you're right.
I also see that amongst spoiled kids.
Yeah.
It's very similar, what you just described, that I see in spoiled kids.
Yeah.
Getting freebies. Parents just giving without them asking, and I'm like, you are destroying this kid.
Yeah.
They're never going to learn to think for themselves. And I think a lot of South Africans are actually very clever, because we're not a first world country.
Yes.
And so we somewhat learn how to get there on our own. And I think therefore when I travel the world, I can see like whenever there's South Africans, they are the most clever amongst that group.
South Africans overseas are amazing. Absolutely. I don't think we speak enough about South Africa, because when you go to Europe, parts of the Middle East, Asia, and you say South Africa, they're like, South Africans are so hardworking, and you're like, where?
Where?
But what I realized is there's something that I call a foreigner mindset.
Yeah.
There are people that have, some people, I think Gary Vaynerchuk calls it an immigrant mindset.
Okay.
When you're outside of your comfort zone, when you leave Limpopo and come to Pretoria, when you leave South Africa and you travel abroad, I think there's like a survival instinct or chemicals in your head that kicks in, which then, because if you look at a history in the world, the most successful people almost anywhere are either foreigners or the children of foreigners. I mean, Elon Musk is a foreigner in America, but even in South Africa, he was the descendant of foreigners at some point. If you look at what's happening with Africans that come here, if you look at Indians that are here, for some reason, or let me just say this, if you want extreme success, constantly challenge yourself out of comfortable spaces. It could be traveling to Cape Town.
Yes.
It could be going to Nigeria. it could be you trying something new. So I sell bull bars now, but I'd like to try nails. And it's like your brain gets ignited.
And it's traumatizing at the time.
Yes.
Moving from the Popo to Pretoria was extremely traumatizing for me, but I pushed through.
Yeah.
And it's like you say, if you want to ignite your brain, do something different, something that traumatizes you.
Yeah.
To the point of where you want to go back, but don't go back.
Once you get to the other side, you become a different human being.
Very different. Very different. And so it's very funny for me when I bump into old acquaintances. They would tell me like, well done on Housewives, Mel. You did your act so good. And I'm like, my act? You just remember the old me.
Yeah.
Like, this is the new me.
Yeah.
I have evolved.
Yeah.
So it's so true what you say.
People fear the levels that you can become.
Yes.
And what tends to happen and what's going to happen for you, you're going to become so successful that people will think you're not real.
Oh, I love that.
That's the level that you need to be going for.
Okay.
Where it's like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You can't, there are too many uncomfortable spaces, traumatizing experiences that she succumbed and succeeded in, to a point where you're like, I would never be able to just move here. I would never be able to start this. And that ends up making you a myth.
Oh, listen, you're so wise beyond your years.
But it's something I wish for you, and I hope in some way I'll be part of the journey. Even if this is it, I'm honored and I'm inspired as well to keep going.
Thank you. You know, there's a lot to be done.
Yeah.
And if people with a vision just come together, things happen by itself.
You call it collaboration.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
So I think if someone is hungry enough and they come together and they just brainstorm, I really think big things can happen. But we don't do that enough.
We don't.
And sometimes when you do it, some people become very greedy.
Of course.
And it doesn't work out.
Of course. But I'm glad you're smart enough to be aware of all these nuances, and hopefully you'll be able to sidestep all of them.
Well, with the right people on my side.
Sorry, I wasn't farting.
I think
but I'm like,
it's
what?
possible. No, you're very wise beyond your years, honestly.
Thank you.
I don't know, but you could have been 60 by now with that wisdom.
Maybe I am.
Maybe you've got just good skincare and you're 60, but here you are.
We live life fully.
Yeah.
People like you and I, and that's why we've got like a lot of lives packed in one. There are young girls you went to school with in Limpopo that are still there, that never challenged themselves, and they've been living the same year for 10, 20, 50 years. That is not a full life.
And when I look back at them, I'm like, why did you never do something?
Yeah.
For me, it's not normal to not evolve.
Sure.
There's no two ways for me.
Sure.
You know, people mustn't even assume like, what made you choose this path? What makes you think that I see two?
Yeah.
We see this one.
Yeah.
You know.
But as long as they're happy, because we're not here to criticize people who are happy.
No, I'm sure they don't know that they don't know. That's the beauty of it.
That is part of the beauty of it. Sometimes when you overexpose people, you plant a very dangerous seed.
Listen, and they become so angry at your success. But they could have done good things as well. They just never tried.
True.
Yeah. I'm so honored to have you in the studio.
Thank you for
coming. I told you it's going to be more than 20. It's almost an hour.
Jeez, that's long.
And it feels like 10 minutes.
I'm glad.
And I really hope we can do this again because I really enjoyed this chat.
Thank you.
And I hope it goes viral because the wisdom that was coming out from this body over here.
Are you talking about yourself?
No, I'm talking about you. The Black Pen.
Oh boy. I'm inspired, Melanie. Thank you so much.
And me too.
And thank you for the invite. Again, I need to apologize on the mic because I know we've rescheduled this, I think, twice. But I had to honor it today. The star that you are, the star that you're becoming, and more than anything, the leader that you are and the transformation that you're bringing to the world. I don't even know if you're aware of it. But if you're not, it'll come in time. But you must never, ever rest. You're called, look, I'm not religious, but you're called to a higher purpose, and it's up to you to, you know your potential, you know how far you can go, and you know that this is still the beginning. So don't ever let anyone distract you. Go as hard and as far as you can, because you're the one that was poisoned with this calling.
Poisoned.
And I look forward to be able. I look forward to telling your story later, and people are like, Melanie, and I'm like, I know so well.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, that in itself is very inspiring, and this is probably one of those podcasts that I'll keep listening to. Just all that wisdom, sucking it in, making it part of my soul and my being. I really appreciate it so much.
Bye,